That's right. We begin with thousands of remembrances pouring in from around the world for Pope Francis, known as the People's Pope. Francis leaves behind an incredible legacy as a humble, charming, and progressive pontiff.
And just in the last few hours, the Vatican announcing that Pope Francis died from a stroke that put him into a coma and led to heart failure. We do have live team coverage tonight on Pope Francis's impact around the world and right here in the district.
Let's start with our Bob Barnard live at St. Matthew's Cathedral with reaction. Bob?
Hey there, Shamari and Angie. The first thing that catches your eye here outside St. Matthew's today is the yellow and black bunting. There it is, yellow, the color of the Vatican, black, of course, the color of mourning. There was a special mass for Pope Francis in the noon hour here at the cathedral today.
Brothers and sisters, today let us ask the Lord for the grace of the certainty of the resurrection, the hope that comes from the resurrection, and to pray for our Holy Father.
This Mass was attended by several hundred people just hours after the passing of the first Jesuit Pope, the first Pope from the Americas. He was 88 years old, in failing health, but seen in public in Rome at the Vatican just yesterday, Easter Sunday. Here now, Catholics and clerics on the death of Pope Francis and the legacy he leaves behind.
It's a sad day, but it's a joyous day because he is with the Lord. And he had all his wishes really granted because he was able to be with the people for this Easter Triduum.
One thing I will remember him for is his humility. He was very close to the poor and those who are less fortunate, and he so often advocated for them. And I think that's something that really touched me as well.
Now, at the Basilica in Northeast today, bells tolled 88 times starting at noon, one for each of Pope Francis's 88 years of life. The afternoon service there was celebrated by the Archbishop of Washington, Robert Cardinal McElroy, and the Pope's ambassador to the U.S., Cardinal Christophe Pierre. Here now, the Monsignor Ronald Jameson from St. Matthew's Cathedral speaking about Pope Francis.
He reached out to the peripheries. He reached out to the marginalized. He reached out to the poor. He reached out to the immigrant. And he said, you know, all of us are one.
Now, in our next hour, you'll hear from a D.C.-based Jesuit who's an author and a journalist, writes about the Catholic Church, his remembrances of Pope Francis. And you'll meet a young man we met here today, guys, who says he came to the Catholic Church as an adult and met with Pope Francis. We have the photo last November. You'll see that at 5 o'clock.
Thank you, Bob. Looking ahead at what happens next, from Pope Francis's funeral to the procession selecting the next pope. Our team coverage continues with Kenneth Moden live in the newsroom to walk us through the steps. Kenneth?
Shamari, the Cardinal, who is now essentially the acting head of the Vatican, pronounced Pope Francis dead at 7:35 this morning, local time. What we know next is and what we expect to see next is a religious ritual that's mostly gone unchanged for centuries, and something we've only seen twice in the last 20 years. The papal or fisherman's ring is broken, symbolizing the end of the Pope's time as the pontiff. That ring will also eventually be buried with Francis. Next, the Pope's living quarters. They have already been sealed off. No one will be allowed to go inside until after his funeral. The Pope's body will be placed in a plain wooden coffin and moved to St. Peter's Basilica, where he will lie in state. Protocol says the funeral must take place 4 to 6 days after the Pope dies. This will likely be held in St. Peter's Square this weekend. Unlike other recent popes, Francis will be buried in Rome's St. Mary Major Basilica.
It was his will, and we did it. And Holy Father is very attached to the basilica, and for that reason he chose to be buried.
We are now entering a 9-day mourning period. Cardinals from around the world will meet at the Vatican to sort of campaign for themselves to be the next leader of the Roman Catholic Church and its 1 billion members. If you recently watched the award-winning movie Conclave, you might have some idea of what that process will look like. Within the next 15 to 20 days, the cardinal electors or College of Cardinals will isolate themselves in the Vatican to begin voting on who will be the next pope. Votes could be counted again and again until a 2/3 +1 majority is reached. All the paper ballots will be burned after each count. Black smoke means they haven't made a choice yet. White smoke, of course, means a new pope has been selected. Shamari.